Hey, Warpugs. So, this is a request from Darkstar. This is the Templin Institute's Stargate Command episode. Now, I did not watch SG-1. I did not watch that. But, I will flat out state that the original Stargate movie is probably one of my favorite movies to sit down and watch. And I had to be in a certain kind of mood to watch it. I mean, you know, it is what it is with movies for me. But it's one of my favorite ones to watch. It has all the things that you expect from a late 90s sci-fi movie. You know, aliens. It has, you know, Kirk Douglas. Kirk Douglas was in legitimately... He was in, you know, was it Universal Soldier? Couple of other things that he was in. He always played the same type of character. He was very much typecast. But, I mean, you look at him, you can believe he's a military hard ass. I'm just saying. But, the rest of the casting characters it was really well done. I really enjoyed it. But I never got into watching SG-1. So, this is going to be a little bit of an education for me, and the good thing about it is I already have the foundation about it, which is good. But, all that being said, thank you for the recommendation. All the Templin Institute's links are going to be in the description down below. Highly recommend you guys check them out. And I do know that you guys want me to check out, for those of you who have asked me to check out the Templin Institute series on the Greater Terran Union, I've already seen it. And I do not check out things like anything that I check out on this channel. I want it to be a first-time experience for me. You know, I want it to be a first-time experience for me, so I always tell people, yes, I have seen the Templin Institute's Greater Terran Union, and it's spectacular. All that being said, though, we're going to jump into this. Let's learn about Stargate Command. Here we go. It's always good to have a fundamental foundation in something like this, too.
In 1928, an object of unknown origin was recovered from beneath the shifting sands of Giza.
I miss this announcer for the Templin Institute, I'm just saying.
7 decades later, this device would become the nucleus of the single largest classified operation in human history. This program would push the boundaries of human knowledge and technology forward by centuries and reshape the very foundation of humanity's place in the universe. While its time on the galactic stage has been comparatively brief, there's been no greater challenge to the ancient alien tyrants of the galaxy than the forces of Stargate Command. A top-secret component service operating within the United States Air Force, Stargate Command is headquartered deep underground within the Cheyenne Mountain Complex, an immense, nearly self-sufficient facility. The site houses the eponymous Stargate, part of a vast intergalactic network of such devices that allows for near-instantaneous travel between 2 points in space. As Earth's primary means of accessing this network and the inherent risk of alien incursions or other hazards associated with gate travel, Cheyenne Mountain is one of the most heavily guarded sites on the planet, and the Stargate itself is shielded by a metallic iris when not in use. In addition to its facilities on Earth, the SGC also operates an ever-expanding network of bases across the galaxy. Such sites are responsible for a variety of scientific and military operations. These include providing quarantine centers to prevent Earth from being exposed to technological, biological, or chemical hazards, as well as advanced research centers where prototype technologies can be developed in secret. During times of extended conflict, such sites might also be used to stockpile equipment for use off-world, or to train and coordinate Allied forces. The most important off-world base is designated an Alpha Site, and expected to act as a contingency headquarters for the SGC if the Cheyenne Mountain Complex was compromised. In the event of a direct attack on Earth, the Alpha Site would also serve as an evacuation point for key personnel and a command post for any organized resistance. Command over the SGC and its facilities has traditionally fallen to a major general within the UCAF, But as the Stargate program has expanded and become increasingly reliant on outside funding, the United Nations has pushed for heightened oversight via the International Oversight Advisory, or IOA. The IOA is often at odds with the SGC.
Oh, this guy, the Doctor. He is always the Doctor for me. He was one really bright spot on Voyager. And unlike a lot of people, I really liked Voyager. Until they massacred the Borg.
Leading to inconsistent leadership and, at times, conflicting goals. Nevertheless, the core of the Stargate program has remained relatively unchanged since its inception, focusing on missions of exploration intended to procure advanced technology and establish off-world alliances. To achieve this, Stargate Command relies extensively on SG teams, small elite units who are routinely deployed across the galaxy. The majority of these teams consist of members drawn from the U.S. Armed Forces, namely the Air Force, although other nations of Earth, such as the Russian Federation, have begun to operate their own units. In rare instances, members of alien races have been granted membership into SG teams, often acting as local guides or experts. Often the sole point of contact between Stargate Command and new worlds and races, SG teams are expected to be proficient in a variety of fields and are often entrusted with the authority to execute far-reaching decisions with only limited or non-existent support. Several specialized SG teams also exist, focused around search and rescue, medical, diplomatic, scientific, or combat operations. SG teams are supplemented by sizable garrison forces located on most SGC bases and installations. While these units lack the scientific and diplomatic expertise of the SG teams, they are better suited to take part in sustained combat and often make use of heavier weaponry or surface emplacements.
Okay.
In space, the SGC operates a growing fleet of warships centered around the BC-304, a battlecruiser carrier hybrid which fields a sizable air wing of F-302 hyperspace interceptors.
Okay, I didn't know about any of this. I knew none of this. I knew that there was, so they had their own space fleet, in addition to everything else. I thought it was just an exploration show, really.
The BC-304 represents the culmination of the Stargate program's efforts to develop a means of protecting the Earth from attack and incorporates a wide range of both domestic and alien technologies. Perhaps most importantly, the BC-304 extends the operational range of the SGC to include planets which have been cut off from, or never included within, the Stargate network. Earth's Stargate has been the focus of various programs to determine its purpose and potential since its discovery in 1928. But it was only in 1996 that the first true expedition through an activated gate was undertaken. This was in large part due to the efforts of Dr. Daniel Jackson, who was able to decipher the Stargate's unique dialing.
Is that the same actor that was in? Is that the same actor? I thought he looked familiar, but I didn't. Okay, organized thoughts, brain one turn on. Is the actor from the film the same guy as the actor in the TV show? That's what I'm asking.
System, and through it, activate a stable wormhole. Dr. Jackson, together with a team of special forces under the command of Colonel Jack O'Neill, quickly came into contact with Ra, an alien being of immense power who lorded over a population of displaced humans that believed Ra to be their god. After destroying Ra aboard his ship with a nuclear device, the fledgling Stargate program was disbanded and the gate mothballed. Only a year later, however, it was discovered that Ra had been the supreme system lord of the vast Goa'uld Empire, and in the vacuum created by his death, rival system lords now vied for power.
Great!
Seeking to protect Earth from this threat, the Stargate program was reactivated under the authority of the newly minted Stargate Command. The Goa'uld possessed a formidable technological advantage, but having rarely encountered organized and sophisticated resistance, utilized weapons and tactics based on ceremony and intimidation rather than combat effectiveness. When confronted with the highly advanced military-industrial...
That actually makes sense. That actually really makes sense. And people people will sometimes see that and hear that, like, why would they, why would an alien force, act like this, behave like this? If you haven't faced a threat, the only thing that they have is theory. And if they haven't faced a relevant threat in a certain amount of time, that's going to have a drastic effect if they go up against somebody that's used to fighting all the time.
Industrial complex of the United States of America, the Goa'uld were able to achieve only sporadic and short-lived victories. Amidst their conflict with the System Lords, Stargate Command had been rapidly exploring the galaxy utilizing an original roster of 9 SG units led by the flagship team SG-1. In addition to Dr. Jackson and Colonel O'Neill, SG-1 now included astrophysicist Samantha Carter and the renegade Jaffa Teal'c, former First Prime to the System Lord Apophis. Through the efforts of SG-1 and its associate teams, Stargate Command would acquire and make use of powerful new technologies and encounter receptive allies, most notably the hyper-advanced Asgard. Able to compete effectively with the Goa'uld both on the ground and in space, Stargate Command was able to defeat a number of successive System Lords, while simultaneously encouraging a mass revolt among their slave armies.
Well, there you go.
With the collapse of much of the Goa'uld Empire, Stargate Command would be forced to contend with a variety of new threats, including a race of self-replicating machines which had nearly rendered the Asgard extinct, as well as annihilating several of the remaining System Lords. Despite these new threats, the SGC would continue to expand, contributing to the Atlantis expedition in the Pegasus Galaxy and even inadvertently sending a small contingent on board the Destiny, a spaceship originally constructed by the so-called Ancients.
Okay.
In the Milky Way, the arrival of the extragalactic Ori would present Stargate Command with possibly its greatest threat since the defeat of the Goa'uld. The Ori, as part of a great crusade, swept away much of the Milky Way's local resistance, including the forces of the SGC, Asgard, Free Jaffa Nation, and the last remnants of the Goa'uld Empire. Stargate Command would eventually gain the technology required to fight the Ori on equal footing, but only at the cost of the Asgard, whose genetic degradation necessitated they pass down their collective knowledge before their race became extinct. Even with the Asgard's almost unfathomable scientific knowledge, only by activating the Ark of Truth was the Ori's crusade finally shattered. In the galaxy's last great golden age, centuries before mankind ever dreamed of reaching the stars, an alliance of 4 great races safeguarded thousands of worlds with wisdom and compassion. While the age of this alliance has passed and the 4 races along with it, the extraordinary efforts of Stargate Command has proven to the galaxy that humanity has earned the title of the 5th race. The Templin Institute investigates nations, organizations, and factions from alternate worlds and realities. If you...
Okay. I didn't know half of that. I thought SG-1 was just an exploration show. I didn't know it had this much stuff in it. It just goes to show you. It just goes to show you. Like, if anybody's ever watched this, is this something... is this something that you think I would get a lot of enjoyment out of? Like, because I know, like me, I can't convince my wife to watch half the stuff I want to watch. So, getting her to watch, an early 2000s sci-fi show is probably way out of the picture. But, will this be worth something checking out on my own? I don't know. I had no idea there was this much involved in that show. But there were so many good sci-fi shows that never got the recognition that they really deserve. Like Babylon 5 is one of those shows. We just didn't have the CGI to where it looked good. I mean, the space battles in Babylon 5 look awful. And anybody that thinks they look good, come on, bro. Be real with yourself. I had no idea there was this much involved in this. And I can actually, on the screen there is the BC-304 Daedalus class battlecruiser right there. I'm pretty sure I've seen this requested actually in the Discord. But I had no, I just didn't think about it being associated with Stargate at all. Warpugs. I missed a lot of good shows and stuff like that in the early 2000s. I really did. I really, really did. I was working. I had a whole bunch of stuff going on in my life at that point. And from like 2000 and like well, actually, yeah, mid 2000 until probably about 2012, I didn't even have a chance to really sit down and watch anything or do anything. So there's like this 12-year gulf of pop culture that is I'm completely and totally, you know, just missing, you know. And I filled my time with other stuff because basically there was nothing else for me to do. I wasn't as, and it's kind of weird to say, like, I was in a spot where, you know, I didn't have a TV or anything like that, and that was fine with me. Where, yeah. God, there's so much stuff that I missed out on. Warpugs, leave a like and a comment down below. Subscribe if you haven't already. Tell me about this show if you really enjoyed it or not. And I will catch you guys next time. I have no idea. I thought it was a show about exploration. Shows what I know. I'll catch you next time, Warpugs.